And g'day, fans, air conditioners, and other cool units. Welcome to Writing Corner. This is my writing journey, and for a start, don't forget, please like, share, subscribe, and all that other fun stuff. And of course, as you know, YouTube, if you don't hit that notification bell, you're going to miss out. I mean, it's hit and miss, I know, but you're still going to miss out. At least you try. At least you got to hope of being notified. And of course, if you want to follow me on the rest of social media, buy me a coffee. And of course, I have Patreon accounts. Now, of course, the best way to support the channel, of course, buy my book, spread the word. And of course, as I mentioned, last week, I had been approached about a review copy from a reviewer, trusted and respected reviewer. And I said, why not? Took a chance. Even though I'd given out a lot of review copies and didn't get reviews, I was actually surprised they did a review. I mean, it's unfortunate that a lot of people, they want to be paid for a review, and they did it. No, there's a lot of reviewers who put their money where their mouth is, and they make their reviews from their blogs, and they put it out there. I mean, hats off to the people who stand by their word. Of course, I got a few reviews. I got 16 on Goodreads for my first book, The Boyhood of Cade, sitting at an average of 3.63. Although my latest review is a let's see. I've got a few 4 stars. Where's the latest review? Oh, for some reason, it's out of order. Few, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, 2 5-star reviews. And there we go. For some reason, just doesn't like this filter. Just doesn't like when I do. For some reason, just doesn't want to share. Come on, up you come. Okay, I'll just do one more try. I want to share a window. Doesn't. Okay, here we go. We got it up. It's great. Boyhood of Cade, Book 1, Empire of the Elves. Z Prez has said, the book is highly imaginative, entertaining, relevant, and unconventional. The fantastic avatar after his book, look forward to grand exciting things happen in subsequent book series. Starts and delves in the origins of the Elf Kingdom and other races, the nature, conception of and The Wonderful Boy That Promises Tale, and Convergence on the Fight of Good and Evil, Nature of Each Race, positive and negative aspects, reality of greed, downfall and compromises, the emergence of war and glory, and what affects every race, etc. It's pretty good. Challenging, yeah. Robotics, machines, artificial intelligence, survival of races, domestic concerns, and parenting. It's actually, if you love reading sci-fi, fantasy, Tolkien, anime, you'd appreciate this book, and he's grateful and thankful. So, yeah, I really understood going into writing that not every review is going to be 5-star. Not everybody is going to like my book. I think, quite frankly, if everybody who, and I've seen this happen, books with lots of good reviews go nowhere. I've seen books with good reviews and they turn out to be bad movies. And the most laughable plot I've heard was Maze Runner, where you experiment on kids to solve a disease caused by the sun. I mean, yes, the sun can cause kids cancer, but they didn't actually do a good job. I mean, the Maze Runner. Oh, this is the last. And it's just like a bunch of boys do what in a maze? How's that determine survival of the fittest? I guess. Yes. How's that? They're all immune to disease, so why are they trying to work out how they're immune to disease? Have they forgotten basic genetics? No, according to it's just dystopia 101. Throw a bunch of YAs into a bizarre situation just doesn't suit me. But it's funny how some books sell, and then when they become, or like Mortal Engines, they can sell well and then become really bad movies, even though they're well adapted. Although people complain that Mortal Engines wasn't well adapted, but the concept fell through quite easily. It was just Star Wars reskinned. And I think that fell. That once that review came out, that the interest in that movie fell, even at the highest levels fell. So when you're going to reskin something, do a good, if not better, job than the original. And if you do get caught out as a reskin, own it, accept it. Don't back off. I didn't reskin. I'm just talking about it in general, as the reviewer said. It is. He's picked out the influences and the various themes, and that is pretty much what my book is about. And it goes on. It follows the journey of Cade. Power Games is essentially the mind fuck between Cade and his grandfather to take and have power. Now, it's amazing that, let's see, most reviewers, I think, caught on to the themes and the gentler pace. And, of course, Into the Ell's Mound was darker, and you can tell by the cover. The cover's getting professionally darker. I did that on purpose. As you know, that in the book, I do cover themes that I suppose do lend themselves to universal concepts, and I hope that comes across. I mean, I'm not knocking YA. It's just that as my series progresses, it is going to grow older. That's why I never said these are YA books, and I noticed that a lot of YA fans don't get it, and I'm sorry for you. That if my themes don't run with your taste, that's you're the customer. The customer's all, when it comes to a matter of taste, you know your tastes, and nobody should take away from that. But you should not. This is one thing I don't like about reviews, is when you compare it to your tastes, when you think that everybody else reading the book has to read it from the perspective of your taste. And well, it's just, when you're going into your writing journey, understand that a lot of people aren't going to like what you wrote, and a lot of people are going to criticize what you wrote. Ultimately, they're right about their tastes, but when I look into something, I rarely look at the reviews. Looking back, I think there were some movies I liked, and I'm thinking, well, just imagine how many movies I would not have seen if I had listened to Walter Winchell or Roger Ebert or any of the other reviewers, and how many reviewers are shills. So I know a lot of people aren't going to put a lot of stock in the review that I got. I've got 3 5 stars. So, but 4 stars is great. It's a matter of, hey, did they get the themes? Did they understand the story? And that's ultimately, and did they enjoy themselves? It's, I'm glad that the majority of people who've read my book enjoy it. That I just wish more people would put it on. Even, you don't have to put it on Amazon. I know a lot of people can't, but you can put it on Goodreads, and at least, there. And I think I'll put the link in the description. I don't know if I can update it or not. But yeah, I'll put the link in the description, and hopefully when I'm done, update it. I can view it as I'm going along, talking to you. Hopefully the well, I think hopefully more people will understand where I'm coming from, and writing community, blah blah blah, writing my books, and yeah. Okay, here we go. Review. No comments so far. Oh well. It's rather quiet night by the looks of it. But never know. Never know. Somebody might join me. Yeah, I'm trying, I think, manage expectations. I don't want to um, I'd love, of course, I would love to have something I wrote become viral, to go viral, to be famous. I mean, I suppose who wouldn't, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to have a little bit of fame, a little bit of recognition for their work? course. Of course. I'll have to wait to the end to edit. Mhm. Ah, well. Put the link in the description after. But it's been a busy week. Finished the first draft, started editing. Of course, as soon as I finished editing, ideas flood, go back. So my first draft, edited, back to first draft, edited again. And I think I'm actually starting to get a bit of rhythm. And yeah, about 10,000 words. So it's pretty good. So, although some people only write 3,000 to 4,000 words per chapter, but these are sort of self-contained stories, just, and they're going up on. It's going up on Patreon, so that'll be available 2nd of April on Patreon. Once I finish editing, of course, I like to get a little bit ahead, and towards the end of the month, I got a bunch of articles to write and edit, but mostly, yeah, if I can get a second chapter done in a month, I will. Hopefully get some more art. Hopefully put together a bit more a background, a guide to the different characters. Always having different thoughts and all, but I'm always trying not to put too much content into 1 month, and I'll stay a chapter or two ahead, and I sort of have a goal in mind with each book, but I am flexible as I write. And I think a lot of people do. As they write, they get new ideas, and hopefully you're as I go along, I'm trying to improve my writing, pick the words for a general audience, but I'm not going to be shy about adult themes and adult situations, but I am trying not to be grimdark. I know negativity and grimdark is more appealing to a larger audience, but it's just not something I can do or do well, because when I try, I go too far. I make it so dark that it turns people off. I just don't know what it is. I think everybody has their lane, right? And hello, Jonathan. And how are you? Yeah, as I was saying, hopefully as everybody writes, just stick to their lane. I mean, I found I do fantasy and science fiction well. I have that bit of a over the top, exaggerated world that you find in anime, where the cutesy style. You have cute, fun, hyperactive characters who get into wacky situations. Just a little hint of humor, not the constant quipping of the MCU. And yeah, but when I do grimdark, yeah, although I should go back and finish the story. I was doing a grimdark story on a sniper assassin slash vigilante, and I kept the character a bit ambiguous, whether he's male or female or just referred to as the sniper. Although it did sort of think of giving him the nickname the Black Mantra, but then that would give the connotation that it's a black person doing it, and I didn't want that connotation. But if I said the snake, it would be too cliche. So, and then I just got too dark, that he was counting his kills, doing headshots, getting bored, breaking into houses to knife their targets. But I didn't want to get too moral and say, I wanted to stick to your regular fiendish killer who was, and then I started to realize that, hey, serial killer killing killers, that's to Dexter. But I sort of wanted to explore that story. I think, I don't know, it's just something about a vigilante killer that I wanted to explore. It just got too dark, though. But I may finish it. I may try to find a way to edit it, tone it down, make it a exploration of the motivations of a killer without going into the race, gender, or politics of the killer or the victim. Just going into the basic psychology of outrage and of ambiguity, where you believe you're the arbitrator of right and wrong for whatever reason. So I had to go into that. I was trying to do that, but I was also neglecting my own the stories I was working on, and so I stopped doing that. But yeah, if I get far enough, but then again, if I get far enough ahead, I'll have some time to do some chapters on Sniper. But again, I don't know if I could juggle two stories, and then maybe that's why I got too dark. And but I know psychologically negativity is addictive. It's called negativity bias. That is, when you have a negative experience, like a child who's bitten by a dog will develop fears of dogs. A child who encounters a spider and gets scared will inevitably keep having that same reaction. It's the reason why so many cultures around the world are, no matter what morality they preach, they basically degenerate into a culture of revenge and recrimination. They ultimately, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to write stuff and investigate and explore that revenge fantasies that people engage in and what would happen. But of course, in reality, we all know that I think DC Sniper, that manhunt, sniping. It takes a sniper sometimes to catch a sniper. They'll set up. Even that I had. I think I only got halfway through the story. I thought about it, how they would try to catch him, and trying to think, could you get away? Could you go dark? Could you just slip through the police net every time? Though one of the reasons why DC Sniper took so long to catch is they couldn't get a net up fast enough around, and it was just a matter of time when they did have him run into the net. That's pretty much sometimes how criminals get away. It's just the luck. They got out of the area before the police arrived. That's pretty much it. Not been on file for so long, having nothing to trace you back. But eventually, I think everybody's ego is their own undoing, although it may seem like it. And again, that goes back to last week, talking about villains. Villains. Yes. You could use modern criminals as a source of hype and villainy, but I don't know of a good over the top villain that hasn't been done to death. I think you look at comic books today, they cycle the same villains because they've explored every villainy within the grasp of the human psyche, and clearly, of course, they've dropped a lot of stuff along the way. They've had obviously a lot of test material that they tested on themselves and their inner audience, the people in the know. And obviously along the way they picked a lot of stories to say, nope, we don't like these. And yeah. But I mean, from the monster movies through to the spy movies to various horror genres, I think one of the most creepiest have to be Saw. I think that's a good villain, Jigsaw. But I was hoping with Sniper, do I lean to villainy, or do I lean to Batman, or do I lean towards well, I didn't want to lean towards Dexter. At first, I really didn't think of Dexter when I started writing Sniper. But I didn't. I wanted it. It started as a vigilante, but I'm thinking, vigilanteism. Batman's done to death. Which every possible Batman story, any possible story I come up with would always be compared to Batman. So, and then of course another reason why I stopped is because every possible story would be compared to Dexter, even though he wasn't a sniper. It just kept, no matter where I looked. But then again, I forget who said it. I may have said it. Write your story, and I may go back to it just to write the story. To that, it's my story. I wrote it. I don't care about the influences as long as I didn't copy word for word or scene for scene somebody else's story and say, well, pass it off as mine. I want to write the story as I see what a vigilante sniper would be like, and how, if possible, they would exist in a modern society or slip under the radar, and how law enforcement would act. Of course, everybody's, it's going to appeal to everybody. And of course, you also get that when you write it, when you change genres, people will inevitably compare. Yeah, the motivations would be one factor. Yes, you're right, of course. That is a factor. They have to have unique motivations. Like with Batman, obviously the motivation was the death of his parents. I didn't go into that. My character's motivation was moral outrage. They clutched their pearls. They were sitting in a car park one day and they saw a crime, and they just couldn't let it go. And a few days later, they got a high-powered rifle and popped the skull of the criminal that committed this act, and they felt good about it, and they just kept doing it, finding more and more people of low moral caliber that ticked their clock, and kick their can and law enforcement of low caliber and stretched resources. And yeah, moral outrage was my motivation. And I didn't want a character that was going to beef up and had the toys and had the body armor, though eventually through the story, I think about 6, 7 out of, well, I think out of 20 planned chapters, I only got as far as 11, I think, but around 7, they put on body armor. I forget which. But that was more about the fear coming into play, as well as actually using body armor for warmth while they were to actually hide their body temperature and give them warmth. They used this experimental body armor, and actually the rifle they used was experimental. That's one of the reasons why the police couldn't track them. And there's a lot. Yes, I have seen the movie Falling Down. There's a lot you can do with that, because I was thinking sort of that it would be like that. I was thinking that I did actually possibly had a lot of influence for Falling Down, but whereas Falling Down, he's in, I think, stuck in a traffic jam and just gets pissed off, and the people just keep pissing him off. I think, yeah, that's exactly where right. Exploring somebody who's pissed off, they take their anger out. But unlike Falling Down, where it's constant escalation, I was doing bang, he popped somebody. He felt good. Or she. I didn't actually give the sniper a gender. I tried to make it as everyday person as possible, and just kept referring to the character as the sniper. And the sniper would calm down, go about their normal day, do some shopping, clean their rifle, soak it in oil. It became a ritual where after each kill, they'd dismantle the rifle, clean each part, put the barrel into a sleeve of gun oil, and put it up on the shelf, and just leave it alone, think nothing of it, because they had this experimental rifle, but the sniper had to make his own ammunition. He couldn't just buy ammunition, and he couldn't go on a rampage. He had tooled only a handful of rounds, although they got the rifle and ammunition, and when they ran out, went back to where he got the rifle, and it had this 3-in-1 print machine. Had to get metallic dust and press and glue together to make these flechettes for the rifle. And of course, it was a bulky thing, so that's why originally he was a sniper. He could fire. It was a rifle made to fire far, and it was heavy and bulky, so he had to be very careful where to go, where to set up. But because the moral compass, exactly, he started to take this righteous view that would enjoy every kill, turning everything into a ritual, coming home, doing all this cleaning and it became, and gratify themselves through the act of killing. Yeah, exactly. Judgmental, seeing somebody commit a crime, leaving a little message, repent on their windscreen, seeing them tear up the little note, and and it's just somebody who parked across they think it might be, you get somebody who's parked across a parkway, and they get this little note, repent, and the sniper's following this person around, literally watching them shoplift and pick their nose and handle fruit, all sorts of little, not one petty thing, just petty things adding up before, and they're actually enjoying the building up of this, not because you can't always find a criminal, and you're not always going to find a big major criminal, right? You kill a few drug dealers, got bored, easy pickings. This is one of the areas of Group Dark where they got bored with, telling the police that it's, capping a sniper in the, the sniper capping a drug dealer in the middle of the night and leaving a note to calling the police and saying, I did your job again, and hanging up. And they'd trace the call and come and find this dead body nearby. And they'd find that the body had, this victim, as they'd say, has been dead for quite some time. And they because the flechette shatters on impact, as they find metallic dust, but no bullet. There's fragmented, so they're looking around gunshots for fragmenting shells, but the snipers getting off on the corrupt and inept police, unable to, but at the same time they got bored and they started following people around, judging their neighbors, just one. I think there was only 3 or 4 different actual murders I went into, although he had dozens. I keep saying he, but the sniper had dozens under their belt. And those picker just stalked, looking for other crimes, getting built up in it, and looks for trouble where there's none initially, yes. But they're finding that, show me the man, I'll find the crime. It starts off with somebody parks poorly and follows them around, and they're picking their nose and for when they're shopping. But he's still, something's ticking him off, it's building the rage, and the sniper's actually enjoying the building of the rage rather than the setting up and waiting for a drug dealer to walk by and go. That was boring, actually finding the outrage, finding the trouble, going through the process, going through their trash, all sorts of things to find a justification to take this obnoxious person out. And the gratification of actually finding the crime to actually justify this obnoxious person. And I suppose it's just the descriptions of the executions, the shattering of the bones, the skull cap flying off, and the because we're talking about a hyper velocity rifle that's firing flechettes, and of course it's a big bulky thing. It's a anti-tank. It's it's not called an anti-tank rifle. It's actually called is it anti-tank? No, it's jeez, I had the proper term for it. The narrative point of view was actually I tried to actually follow it from singularly from the point of view from the sniper's POV. The sniper only know what the sniper knows. The sniper sees the police, follows the police, listens to their radio. There's no there's no switching of viewpoints. It's get up, go about their day, whack somebody, then disappear for a while, thinking, oh, will the police track me down? I've got nothing to live for. Nothing, I hate societies. And I had the sniper actually starting off looking at trying to actually repent their sins, that they're trying to avail themselves of this hatred of the world, that, they're trying to find the good in others. I did actually think, how would he go about it? Would he switch it up? Would he just having this experimental rifle? Would that be enough? Would they go into close quarter kills? Would they go into doing darker things to darker people just to punish them and leave them alive, but, mangled, different things as their darkness. How does their darkness evolve? There's no, and do they actually see themselves, as a avenging angel? Those are all see, I only wrote the sparse outlines of the story and only went into the detail of a few kills. It was referring themselves to the sniper, looking down the barrel of the gun, actually thinking of it as an extension of their sexuality, and at some point, believing that yes, the dopamine hit. What's the not exactly saying, oh, look, this is my giant penis. I'm, just random thoughts they're having while looking down the barrel of a gun, thinking. The environment, upon his environmental challenge, as I said before, environmental challenges. That's why he later gets he sees the police hunt. So he gets a special body armor so that he doesn't give away his position. Because, see, the only way the sniper can operate, because it's like a big bloody battery on his back with a big bloody anti-material. It's called an anti-material rifle. It's like 2.5 meters long. It fires a flechette at an extremely high velocity. The only way it can use this is to set up on top of a rooftop, of flat rooftops of tall buildings, look down, fire a shot, and actually dismantle the rifle in the 3 parts, carry this huge backpack that's over 50 kilos of battery. Oh, a scenario where they're dealing with somebody innocent. Yeah, there's a good point. Somebody he finds, somebody's innocent, and he stalks them, and he just can't get over the internal moral threshold that, yes, this person's obnoxious, they're rude, but for once, but they might be defense. That would be interesting, actually. That the one person he stalks and finds is defense. He sees the guy in traffic, frustrated, beeps his horn, abandons his cars, and the sniper's in the traffic, and he's like, shit it off. So he changes his target and focuses on this guy. Finds out that he blew away a bunch, thinks I've got him. He blew away a bunch of guys in a park, and then finds out that they were gangsters, and he thought, oh, wait, he blew away some gangbangers? Oh, but then then another day, he hears about him shooting up a takeaway, and he's getting ready to load up on him. Then he finds out that, they dicked him around, and he's starting to empathize with another like him, and then he has to put up with, then he has to realize, then he's robbed of his kill. And he's got to he's trying to justify killing this innocent cop. So he's outraged at the cop for killing his target. He's trying to go after him, and he's just finding an innocent man who's just as frustrated as Depends. Oh, that would be fantastic. That would be the final half of the book. In the end, of course, the sniper would have to live. It'd have to be an anti-hero in that point to actually stalk an innocent man, possibly at one point save his life, or find more than one way to empathize with his innocence, but not childlike innocence, rather moral innocence in his extreme Dante view of the world, I think, is the best description, I think, for extreme morality. You would call it the Dante view of the world. And that he's accepted going to hell, He just wants to put he's looking at the order of hell and going through Dante and thinking, what sort of hell do I want to go to? What favors can I do to make my time in hell easier than the rest? He's those sort of moral self-questionings. And that's one reason why I thought not to give it a gender. But then I thought, what if I made it a woman? But then I thought, what in a twist, I make it part of the future fantasy empire? And then I thought, what if it's an elven agent who's been on this world, who's been on Earth for too long and lost their way? There are several what ifs to challenge, the situation that challenges the sniper's morality, yes. And he's reading Dante. He's getting deep into different philosophies, trying to find justifications. But I'm talking about justifications from the point of, hey, I know I'm a bad guy, but I want to be the bad guy. And if it comes down to heaven or hell, I'd rather pick hell and make my stay in hell comfortable than just go around putting up with these shits. No, I'm not going to put up with these shits. I'm not going to. The world's going to hell, but I'm going to send it there rather than this high and mighty set on the take the moral high ground type. Yeah, vigilante, morally righteous, should build up to justification. And I don't know if you call it a psychotic break. It could be, let's see, the Joker, a moment of clarity. The Joker realizes the world he's in and becomes, yes, the finale, whether or not they maintain their clarity. They realize they're going to hell. And they realize they need this code of honor or, yes, a psychotic break. But a psychotic break would imply they're broken from reality. But they're not broken from reality. It's whether or not they go down darker paths, like close and personal kills and stuff like that, or they may actually have had a situation where they've gone to one of their regular sniping points and run into the problem of, hey, what you doing, what's in the backpack, and they've had to realize that they can't assemble their rifle and just take out this one guy. And of course, they're now having to fight for their life. Yeah, that would be a final, and maybe in reverse at the end, it's the cop who saves the. It would be, several different possibilities there. Then, of course, you have to look at it from the point. Do you go from a diehard point of view where John McClane kills 10, I think? Body count 10 or 12? I think or what's the other one? Rambo, body count 200 or something like that. I like the John McClane route better. Yeah, noble arbiter. That is, yes, a dark or moral arbiter. And I think from a perspective, do I make it a female character, and do I place that female character in the universe I have or outside it? Or do I leave it to just to be a standalone single story? And of course, eventually people would compare it to Punisher. but of course, Punisher is just strict revenge vigilante. Raising questions about who the character is would definitely be leaving it gender neutral and having not even the cop at the end know who the sniper was, and may actually give the sniper their uh, new moniker going forward by shouting out, you know. But then again, what if I said it in the universe that I have? That would be, or then you would add stuff, supernatural abilities that would make it more credible from a perspective. And yeah, because see, I said it ambiguously without putting a place, without using place names or product names or store names, and been a rough draft. It had no character names, and it actually felt fun not having a character name for this other than the sniper. It was like define and learn the character through their interactions with the environment and their hunt for sniping positions, their hunt for targets, then their boredom with targets. Because the idea of an individual going to such lengths to be a moral arbiter, you have to go through at least uh, their descent. But it's not. It's like their descent, right? They see a drug deal, they get pissed off, but they're trying to be a righteous person, and they happen to read Dante and other stuff about heaven and hell, and just basically scare themselves to the straight and narrow. They want to go to heaven. It's just somebody wants to go to heaven. They read about heaven and hell. Yep, I've got to get rid of my wrath. I've got to cleanse myself. I've got to wash my body, do these rituals. And some of these rituals carry over. Like I said, they wash the gun, they take the barrel, put it into oil to soak. Then they soak in the bath. And of course, that eventually leads to self gratification and starting to actually enjoy the hunt more than the kill. The kill's the letdown. Then, of course, questioning that most of the time they're questioning themselves or just going about the normal day, trying to find targets because they're bored. Drug dealers, a diamond dozen, kill 5, 50 rise up. People have no more. So they think, well, going to can't clean the city. I'll just try my neighborhood. Find obnoxious people to basically create my little garden of paradise and let the rest of the world burn. But of course, manhunt will have started and limited positions to fire from, and eventually. But then again, I don't want to do too many kills because, I think that takes away the hunt. So I thought the John McClane route, and I thought, based on your questions, yes, that one person that interests them, the fence. Another person like them, morally outraged, angry, bitter, vengeful. What will they do? Each theme a kill. Theme to a kill. Then I have to look at the circles of hell for that. Maybe that would be it. Maybe that was it. That was missing. The motives to the darkness. Each involved wrath, lust, envy. Then again, you get 7 sins, but actually, there's way more than 7 sins. This is what Dante was looking at. No, I mean, it means to the character, yes. Not about, yes, the characters looking at the moral why. They might do somebody, they might come across it, can't do every sin. That would give them too many deaths. They might just start with they might just do the drug dealer because, hey, this is my neighborhood. I don't want them in. They are pissed off. I'm outraged, and then they're worried now about going to hell. And the next one is, yes, I kill a few drug dealers, and it's not doing anything for me. It's boring. I don't. And then they might. Then I was thinking, yes, they find obnoxious people in their neighborhood to kill, and it might be, yeah, tie it personally to them. Somebody starts off with somebody who's parked across the parking spot, and this might have them at the start grinding that. Yes, go back and rewrite some of the chapters where they've had somebody cross, take up 2 parking spots, and then later find them out. Yeah, through their decisions. No internal dialogue. Yeah. So almost most of the book then would be descriptions of actions, and most of the dialogue would be overheard. Well, all the dialogue should be overheard. I'm trying to stick to the point of view just of the sniper. They only know as much as what they overhear by news. No internal dialogue. I was wondering about that. That could be interesting. That would challenge, definitely, to have them reading passages then. The only internal dialogue would be them reading passages or going through the process. Watching, yeah, it would be longer without internal dialogue. Then the reader would have to work out each cause. What are they doing this for? It would be almost a complete rewrite of the book, but no internal dialogue, eh? No decision-making process that, other than they're looking for the scope. Yeah, characters' motivation. Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You probably need some internal dialogue, like, I'm going, geez, I'm low on this, I'm low on that, I'm just going to the store. You need some internal dialogue through the questioning phase of, will I do this? I just got to let it go. The police are out there looking for the drug dealer killer. And I was wondering, because originally I had them finding the railgun between the point of they see the drug deal, they're on their way home, and they see this place closing down. And it's actually big studio apartment or whatever nearby. Yes. Hello, Fez Lazelle. Hello. Sorry, forgot your name wrong. Yeah, third person. Yeah. It would just be it'll just be, it won't be a monologue. It would just be yes, no, doesn't, not suitable, obnoxious, question mark. There won't be too many, make the reader decide what they're doing and why they're doing it for each kill. But where I got into the darkness is where they're how much punishment they want to inflict, doing horrible things to horrible people, thinking that leaving a bloody mess rather than just a neatly capped corpse or a headless corpse. It's basically the impact of the bullet just it shatters on impact, but the velocity of this cloud of metallic dust just basically eviscerates the head. Just basically. Yes, that would, yeah. Thinking that the kills are not sending a clear message, that would be about it. You know, just looking at the news and saying, and then seeing that crime is up, and of course you need a progression of time. It shouldn't just be it's not. They don't get up every day. It's no. I think have something. Yeah, definitely would have to. Yeah, have something with that one. Definitely, they'd have to, and that's where their moral compass starts to spin, I guess, and the just trying to not make it so dark that because some I know that if it's too bloodthirsty or it's a lot of places won't let it be published. Just want the reader to understand that this person is, decide whether or not they're doing it for self-gratification or they're trying to do it to fit in with their ever-evolving morality. But in order to understand the morality, there has to be some internal dialogue to outline their moral code or do it through the books they read. Maybe the messages they left behind, repent, or leave behind the message, envy, wrath, which is, of course, hypocrisy. But when you're talking about the arbitrator of justice, there's that every judge is a hypocrite, right? Every judge is a hypocrite. I mean, definitely, every judge is a hypocrite. That would be something probably on his bumper sticker. But it'd have to be a less is more story too. Yes. Background. Are they a military sniper? There has to be some left to the imagination of the reader, some imagination. And, I've got a lot of note taking to do, and thank everybody for coming. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, give us those thumbs up. Thank you for the chat, Jonathan. Hopefully see you all next week. I want to keep this to roughly an hour. I don't want to take up too much time. And this is my writing journey. Signing out.